At Shell Community Federal Credit Union, you are important. We work hard to ensure you have the best banking experience possible. Whether you are inquiring about opening a savings account or wanting to learn more about a loan, our professionals are here to help you with any questions, and we will walk you through every step of the process. Since opening our doors in 1935, we've never forgotten that our members are our most important asset, which is why we continue to excel. For all your banking needs, Shell is the one place to go. Sports food and good times. That's what you'll find at Alton Sports Tap. With our daily specials and the best wings around, no game day is complete without us. Between our main bar, enclosed and outdoor patios, you won't know where to begin your evening. Alton Sports Tap also has a spacious banquet center offering plenty of space to host any event and the food to make it great. Whether you stop by to catch a game, grab dinner, or enjoy our new live gaming, Sports Tap has got you covered.
Slow turn me down.
So, I'm more of a concern. You're more concerned. So, alright, a little background. So, John and I met a while back. So, just, we were going to talk about topics that are hot button topics. We'll eventually expand this out into and look at your questions and call in. John's friends will be able to do it. But I don't have to.
Can you hear me? Are we live?
It's on the wrong meat.
What's that? Well, still do it. Go to commercial because we're still not live.
Credit Union, you are important. We work hard to ensure you have the best banking experience possible. Whether you are inquiring about opening a savings account or wanting to learn more about a loan, our professionals are here to help you with any questions, and we will walk you through every step of the process. Since opening our doors in 1935, we've never forgotten that our members are our most important asset, which is why we continue to excel. For all your banking needs, Shell is the one place to go.
Try it now, John.
Can you hear me okay?
Can you do commercials again?
Yeah, don't turn that way up.
Too late. We're
Sports food and good times. That's what you'll find at Alton Sports Tap. With our daily specials and the best wings around, no game day is complete without us. Between our main bar, enclosed and outdoor patios, you won't know where to begin your evening. Alton Sports Tap also has a spacious banquet center offering plenty of space to host any event and the food to make it great. Whether you stop by to catch a game, grab dinner, or enjoy our new live gaming, Sports Tap has got you covered.
Slow turn me down.
So, I'm more of a concern. You're more concerned. So, alright, a little background. So, John and I met a while back. So, just, we were going to talk about topics that are hot button topics. We'll eventually expand this out and look at your questions and call in. John's friends will be able to do it. But I don't have to.
all right. You were with We Might Disagree with Brian and John, and I believe we actually have audio this time, so I apologize. I hit a button, and my producer just told me to quit hitting buttons. So,
we're just spoiling people with audio and everything.
Episode 13 is live.
They said it would never last.
I know, and here we are. And we even missed last week because
Yes.
that was a debacle, and we apologize for that. But even the best needs some time off.
But we're rested and ready, just like Nixon was.
Like Hillary is.
Yes. Yes. She's rested
By
up.
the way, I had a cough this morning, and I was like, I got the Hillarys, and it drew a large crowd of laughs. So, got my son Aiden sitting here with us. He wanted to come on. He ran for student council, and I was proud of him. So he did a really good job, and I thought you can come sit in on the show. His brothers are all upset, but he's not going to talk too much. He says he just wants to listen. So I am a little worried with him sitting behind John, but I think he'll be okay. So let's get into the meat of the show. And listen, there's a lot of things going on. There's nothing good in the country right now.
Nothing good?
I can't think of, I mean, there's probably some good out there somewhere. I just can't find it. You know, I mean, not in the news anyway. As far as news is concerned, I find
every day people are working at soup kitchens. There are people working at Habitat for Humanity. We've got people adopting children. We've got people raising funds for charities. We got stuff going on all the time.
I said it in the
How
news.
can you say, well...
I said in the news.
All right.
I did not, Mr. Producer, did I not say, Aiden, did I not say
I
it in
didn't
the news?
hear it in the news.
You're on your own.
I said it in the
I'm
news.
just no.
So, all right. So
We'll play the tape back later
we'll
on.
play
But
it.
go on. Let's drive on.
Let's assume the audio is working. All right, so let's talk about, and I wanted to talk about Hillary and Donald Trump and what's going on, with them and up. But I really think what's going on in Charlotte and around the country needs to be discussed. And I've got my views on it, and you know, the officer in Tulsa was charged today, and from what I see, it sounds like it's the right decision to do. You know, it just doesn't look good. And again, the window, with the blood in the window, you could see it. And you know, I've never known a situation where you lie and you come out better. You know, I mean, I'd rather somebody just say, you know what, I freaked out, I panicked, I was nervous, I got scared. What I mean, I'm not saying it justifies a man's life, because he wasn't cooperating, and I still stand by my post earlier. It's hard for me to say that black people in general are afraid of the police when they continually do not follow directions given to them by the police.
Well, you think those two things are unrelated?
Well, I know this. So, Mr. Producer, if you put, what happens when you put a fork in an outlet?
Well, you already know. You've done it several times.
No, I've done it once, okay? And I don't do it again because you get shocked. It hurts, right, Aiden? How do you know? No, I'm kidding. So anyway, so I don't feel like there's this fear, you know what I mean, that they say that they have. And then I also think, I saw a lady today, or yesterday, and she was talking about how they're, you know, she didn't, I'll use her words, I'm going to quote, they're killing us, they're targeting us, they're killing us. That is not true. That's a false statement. Her own people are targeting her and killing them off. And I think that's what's bringing it in. So I'm going to let you rebuttal all this, okay? But here's my thought on the problem. And it's been, I've thought this through. There's so much black on black crime, all right? And it's really bad. And I believe that it brings more police into those environments, okay? There has to be, right? Because the police are there because of the shootings and all the violence that goes on. And not in just the whole black community, but in the certain locations where we're seeing these issues. It's just a matter of time before something goes bad. It's just a matter of time. You got a guy now that got out of the car with a gun. And you know, as a conceal and carry and a police officer, the first thing you do is you tell them, I am a conceal and carry, I have a weapon on me, and they tell you how to proceed. So even if he had the gun legally, as this lady said, with the Second Amendment right, which he couldn't because he's a felon, he got out of the car with a gun. What are the cops supposed to do? You know, now this Tulsa thing's different, and I think it's being handled properly because bad shootings happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Tulsa shooting because that one we've got videotape of.
Right.
And so we've got two different views. But for me, the thing that nobody's talking about that I think needs to be addressed is that you have to look at that videotape, and before they even get to the part where he's approaching the vehicle and maybe he's trying to get in the vehicle, maybe he's reaching for something, before you ever get to that point, you hear the police sirens. You hear approximately 6 different police cars. Now, let's refresh our audience's recollection as to what was going on. The call was there's a disabled vehicle in the middle of the road. Okay, that's not an unlawful act. Okay, this happens every single day in America. It doesn't matter if you're white and you have a disabled vehicle or you're black and you have a disabled vehicle.
Correct.
So why in the world would they have 6 police cars and a helicopter, a police helicopter for a vehicle disabled in the middle of the road?
So is that how the call came in? Because I did not know that's how the call came in.
Yeah. And then, of course, then there's some discussion about him being, quote, a bad dude and so forth. But they never should have had their guns drawn in the first place because he hasn't committed a criminal act. Now, I'm sure that the officer who had 4 years on the force in Oklahoma, and she had actually gone to a 6-week training course in how to respond to people that are on the effects of drugs and so forth. So she had some training, and I think she probably correctly, I mean, we won't know until the toxicology comes back in about 3-4 weeks or so, but let's assume she's right that the guy's on PCP. You can't shoot and kill someone because they're on PCP. So
Nope.
why she has a weapon drawn and the other officers have a weapon drawn on a gentleman who's got his hands over his head. Now,
He did.
let's assume he's being non-compliant. You still can't shoot him for being non-compliant. The only time you can shoot this guy is if he does something that reasonably, not that subjectively, but reasonably, which means what would a reasonable and careful person think or believe or do under the circumstances? You have to reasonably believe that you are in imminent, not just any remote, potential, tangential kind of harm,
Right.
but a threat of imminent threat of harm to yourself or others. And so in this particular instance, I believe that means you've got to see a gun. It's not enough that he reaches towards his pants. People reach towards their pants all the time.
I disagree.
He could have been pulling out a note that says, hey,
Okay, so I'm with you up until that point. Okay, I'm with you up until that point. I fully agree. John, you got to understand, these officers, think about what's happened with, especially now with police
I
officers.
understand that they're scared.
But that's not their fault that they're scared. Okay, it's black people that are targeting them now. So how is it? And I'm playing devil's advocate on this.
I know.
Okay, I'm not saying this guy deserved to be shot. Okay, I don't know this man. He's a married man. I understand. He got kids. I've got my kid here. It's a tragic loss. Okay, I don't care what anybody does. When you lose somebody, it's a loss. But man, you've got to do what the police tell you to do. If you're not going to do that,
And hold on, let me address that just for a second.
you have to follow directions.
You have to follow the directions of the police, and frankly, if you don't follow the directions of the police, you should be arrested. You should be given a summons.
But if you're a black man in America right now, and you're screaming that every black man's being shot by cops, by especially white cops, and they're screaming at you, and there's a gun pointing at you, and you reach for your pants, come on, I'm shooting you. I'm a conceal and carry. Either you shoot or you run. A cop can't run. Okay, I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not. I'm just saying he made a move that I would say, if I'm sitting on a jury, I'm questioning
No.
it. That's why she wasn't charged with murder.
well,
That's why it's
no
manslaughter.
one believes that she intentionally wanted to kill this man.
But she shot
Nobody
him.
believes that she wanted to commit first-degree murder, that she was so upset that he failed to follow directions, that she wanted to make sure that this man never stepped
But
foot.
why did
No.
he reach when he was told time and time again to not do it? Why did he do
Have
that?
you ever seen video footage of a drunk person before, and the police try to reason with them, and the drunk person doesn't do what they're told? Are those people shot? No. Have you ever seen, and we've all seen videos of white people who are apprehended by the police, they're holding a weapon, and they say, drop the weapon. And, there's some degree of time that goes on before the weapon is dropped or somehow they take it away from the person or whatever. My point is, we have plenty of examples where people actually have weapons where the police have not shot. And because they didn't think that they were in imminent fear of harm to themselves or others. The police officers in this particular case wasn't just one officer. You had three officers.
One tased him first.
And I have no problem with the guy being tased.
But why
The
was he
person is
tased?
not- apparently, I guess because he was non-compliant. I guess because he was walking away and they wanted him to stop or whatever. But again, this man was essentially minding his own business. His car becomes disabled. There's no allegation he committed any criminal act. And, if he's on the influence of something and they want to give him some sort of disorderly conduct or some summons, that's fine. But it doesn't justify. And you have to understand, lethal force. You're talking about taking someone's life,
Right.
not by the death penalty, by a jury of their peers in a court process with an appeal. You're talking about one person from the state who's authorized to carry a weapon makes a decision to take another person's life. I don't think that the officer did willy-nilly, just carelessly did it. I think part of the problem was we had a large African-American man. He was acting somewhat unusually, probably erratically. Maybe he was on PCP. I don't know. None of that justifies the lethal use of force. But so you have this sort of a hyped-up response. You've got all these people coming, and they're acting like this person was the thief of the Lindbergh baby.
Like he did
and so they did something wrong. And then they've got their weapons drawn on somebody who basically is engaging in disorderly conduct, and they take the situation and they escalate it and make it worse. You know, if the guy wants to get into his car and drive away, you set up some road spikes down the road, you knock out the tires, you apprehend him then. You don't shoot to kill the man. There just is not justification. And I want you to understand my background. Is that I am not anti-police. I'm not pro-police. I've litigated excessive use of force cases in federal court on behalf of officers. I've defended them in court. I've also sued police officers for excessive force. So I understand both sides, and I also think that you've got to look at every single one of these cases. They're all individual. They're all distinct. They all hinge on very particular sets of facts and nuances. But in this case, what I saw was somebody, it looked to me like he was trying to reach to get the handle to get into his car to leave. That's what I saw. But
I would agree with you on that. That's what it looked like from the point of view that I had from the camera angle.
Right.
But I don't know what her angle looked like.
Sure. But if that's true, you can't shoot him for that.
I guess where I get stuck, John, is, okay, so, and I do think that black people are treated differently with the police, especially black males.
They are.
I would agree with that, especially ones that are dressed a certain way versus, and I think where they're at based on their car. And I think a lot of people are judged, not just black people. But I just to keep the argument fair, I would say, I would agree with that.
Police profile people all the time for a lot of different reasons.
So if you know that's being done to you, why would you not take extra steps on your own to not let this happen? And then that's where I get stuck. It's like, and maybe it's just a mental capacity, or maybe it's just a rage or anger, and just like, I'm not doing anything wrong. What's all this going on with me? Why are you treating me? I mean, I don't know. If there is drugs and alcohol involved, which we don't know. I mean, I guess for me, it's like, man, why do I keep seeing black males on TV getting shot and they're not following directions?
But let's assume for a moment that he was just drunk. He's not on PCP. Do you think, and he's not complying with what the officers are asking him to do? And say he's a white gentleman. Do you think that would be a justified shooting?
I think it'd be right where it's at now, same place. I mean, to me, I agree with you. I think she was, and again, we talked about this earlier, and I'm not a cop, and I really wouldn't want to be one right now. But I do think that my fear level and their fear level should be somewhat different. You know what I mean? As me as a civilian, them as a police officer, They have to be more tolerant. I would think they have to, but at the same time, too, though, they have the right to come home. And we've seen time and time again. We just saw it in, where was the last shooting where they ended up killing police where the guy, Baton Rouge, they took the guy down. They tried to wrestle him down like they should have for him, and he was reaching for a gun. You know what I mean? So I guess they're profiling, and it's like, we're seeing police officers get shot. We're seeing police officers get ran over. Last week, female police officer, black one, was shot 8 times, I believe. That didn't even make the news hardly, I don't think.
Right.
So I get, I don't like that this man's lost his life, but he owns some of it. Some of it's on him. I mean, he owns it. And listen, I don't know. I mean, you tase the guy, he doesn't go down. I think tasers are a waste of time. I've never believed in tasers. I think if you got somebody in that position to tase him, you need to be, just be shot.
I disagree with that.
It's like me. If a cop pulls me over, and I want to state something. I was very poorly mistreated by police officers one time. I was arrested for no reason, which everything was dropped. I even called the police to the scene, and I was arrested. And, I was furious. I'm like, I called you. How are you putting me in handcuffs? And, 3 hours later, all the smoke clears and I'm out. But the point is that I behaved. I followed directions. I did what I was told to do, even though I knew I had done nothing wrong. And I don't have a lot of faith in the system. I don't trust the system any more than a black man does. I hope they know that. I don't trust it. How many people are our system, I thought, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you are a lawyer, our system was designed to let 10 people guilty go free versus one innocent person go to prison.
Right.
That's the way I was told and taught that it was. So for an innocent person to go to prison is not acceptable.
No.
And you put somebody in prison for 30 years and give them $30 million, that's not giving them their life back. So I don't know what we do from here, but it's getting bad. And now it's just gone over the edge.
I do want to address one thing. And, so it's not that I'm saying that the police don't have any slack. I mean, I think that I'm very sympathetic for the police in these cases where, you've got somebody that has a black metal shiny something, and maybe it turns out to be a camera or a phone or whatever, and the officer thinks it's a weapon. Unfortunately, when you're involved in situations like that, you're going to make mistakes, and I give the officer the benefit of the doubt.
Your phone?
That's my phone.
Yes.
I brought my own sound effects. It's a hard job, and I don't think that the police have to be perfect. But I do think for it to be reasonable, you have to see something. And if it turns out to be a book or a phone or a camera, you know what, then okay. But then if it's reasonable in the circumstances, but you have to see something. You can't just say, I thought he was going for a gun, because that justifies the shooting of virtually anyone.
It does. I agree with that. There needs to be, but yeah, I get that. I agree with you on that. Because it's like with me. If I happen to have my gun on me, first thing I do is tell the police if I get pulled over, hey,
right.
I have my hands on the wheel.
Right.
How would you like for me to proceed?
Yes.
And I fully expect to be handcuffed and taken out of my vehicle, and I am completely fine with that, because I want that officer to not be nervous, because I don't want to be this guy.
Right. And I think what happened in this case is that they got so hepped up, their weapons were drawn. I think she just jumped the gun. I think that she was so concerned that the guy was going to do something, then all of a sudden there's a movement, and she overreacted.
And now we've got a dead man and a woman that's going to go to jail.
Right. And
a lot of lives ruined on that moment.
Right. And it's terrible that, it seemed like an otherwise a decent officer, and she's looking at 4 years in prison. So.
No, I agree. This other one, do we need to go to break, Mr. Producer?
When you're ready.
We'll take a quick break. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.
Come on, guys. We're only up by 1 run. I need some insurance. Let's go.
Put me in, Coach. I can get you some insurance.
AmFam G-Man at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swing and a long one. A home run for AmFam G-Man.
Hit a home run with my team, a winning team. Let me protect your dreams. Call me, Gerard Fisher, 466-7062. Come on, Coach.
American Family Insurance.
You walk onto this campus and it feels as though you're at an Ivy League institution.
It is cultured in so many ways. You would never know that it is a 2-year college.
This place is truly amazing. I love going to school here.
It is definitely not like any other community college.
If you're looking for a way for your life to change, then Lewis & Clark is the place for you to be.
Roper's Regal Beagle, located on Godfrey Road, is the Metro East premier sports bar and grill. Open Sunday through Thursday till 2 a.m. and Fridays and Saturdays till 3 a.m. At Roper's Regal Beagle, you will enjoy some of the area's best pizza from their wood-fired pizza oven. There is also a full kitchen offering a huge variety, as well as a soup and salad bar. Sports fans, Roper's Regal Beagle is the place to watch the game. 27 TVs, NFL ticket, Big Ten, Pac-12, and streaming local high school sports.
Heart-pounding excitement is what you will find around every corner with the new Polaris Slingshot. It's like surfing pavement. After just one test drive, you will be ready to ditch the sports car, the Harley, or the sports bike and settle into the hottest thing in the street. With a 2.4-liter GM power plant churning out 173 horsepower, you will feel the adrenaline rush of a lifetime. Come on down to Midwest Motorsports on Route 3 in Hartfield, Illinois. We would love to take you for a ride.
Hey, welcome back to We Might Disagree with Brian and John, and my little man over here, Aiden, sitting with us. We were just discussing the police shootings, and I think we should take it up a notch to what's going on in Charlotte. So
before we get to Charlotte, I want to mention what happened in St. Louis. Did you see the report and the video? The video is not very clear, but there was a police officer that was arrested for murder.
Yes, I heard about that. From 2011.
Well, the tape thing is from 2011. I think he was arrested about 3 months ago. And the videotape, I think, just surfaced, and it looks really bad. I mean, it looks like the officer went back to his vehicle. You can't see what he gets, but then he goes back to the car. Maybe he drops a pistol or not, but clearly they've got substantial grounds to believe that he may have committed murder. And, I mean, that's a scary situation.
Yeah, cops can't, it's, I don't know, it's tough for cops right now. I think
that didn't help.
No. But you put all the police in a room together. How many of them are bad? You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
come on.
Well, it's just like any profession.
You got good ones and bad ones.
You got bad doctors. You got bad lawyers. You got bad accountants.
They're there.
You got bad DJs.
Yes.
You got bad internet companies.
You have bad producers.
We don't have any bad producers.
We got great producers.
We got great producers, but other than producers, there's bad folks in every profession.
So
and the same thing is with cops. I will say I know a fair number of police officers. I've served in the reserves with police officers. Sometimes their behavior, and I'm not saying they're criminals, but they can tend to run a little wild and free in their behavior. And
I've had some real jerks. And some that have made me mad, and I always go back to before what I used to say to people, and and especially with a police officer, and maybe they don't get this enough, but my previous job, we had some customers that were just horrible, and I always told my people that worked with me, like, you don't know what that person went through. You don't know what their day's been like. You don't know what led up to this moment. Maybe this just put them over the edge. And I can give you an example. I was working in Ferguson, Missouri, and I get called to the front desk. Got a lady there that's just flipping out, screaming and yelling, very mad, very angry woman. And just for the record, it wasn't a common occurrence there, okay? I mean, it's like anywhere. We had bad customers everywhere. So I walk up there, and she's just going off on me. And I tell this story a lot. It was one of my customer service stories I always used to tell. And I always say, I don't recommend doing this, but something inside me authorized me to do it. And I said, ma'am, do you need a hug? And it sounds really smart, to say. Right. She fell into my arms and was bawling. And what had happened was her mother had just passed away. She had no money to bury her mother, no money for flowers. So, we went to work. It was Home Depot. We got flowers. We provided all the flowers for her mom. We couldn't do a whole lot with. We got on the phone. We went to work for her. What the heck was that?
I think every time you say something good, a bell goes off.
That's an angel, right?
So we probably have 2 or 3 of those show.
So my point is that we could have looked at that lady at something different, but she obviously had a distress going on in her life, and I can't imagine not being able to provide flowers for my mom if I was to lose my mom. So. With a police officer, I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And you got to remember, I was a volunteer fireman for many years in Godfrey, and I kind of quit doing it because every time we left in that truck, somebody's having a really bad day. It's just a bad day. And you have to become numb to that because you can't take all those personal things home. So police officers, every time they're called, it's not just robberies. Think about the domestic violence. Think about the murders. How many people listening have actually been to the scene of a murder? I've been to the scene of a murder in Saturated. It's a horrible, horrible thing to be a part of. Just the feeling is overwhelming. The emotion. You don't even know the person, but It's like this person just was murdered.
That's one thing about that Oklahoma case that really bothered me after the fact, is that here's a man who's just been shot.
They don't touch him.
They don't touch him. They don't look at him. They don't express any concern. They're more worried about cordoning off the street so the cars don't come than they are about somebody lying. Who knows if he was dead on, upon impact or not.
Yeah, I can't imagine, and I so when I do have an interaction with the police officer, so I try to avoid. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt of why they're having a bad day. I try to stay positive throughout the experience, and even some cops just don't get it. And some of them are really nice. I still get my ticket.
What I tell my son, here is a young man, 25 years old, and his father's a lawyer, a trial lawyer, and so it would be easy for him to just use that and perhaps abuse the privilege. But what I explained to him, and this is probably good advice for you, Aiden, is that when the police pull you over, is that you say yes sir, no sir. Mm-hmm. You comply with everything that they ask of you, and it isn't that you're capitulating and saying that, suppose you weren't speeding and they say you're speeding. It's not that you're capitulating. It's just that moment in time when that officer is writing you a ticket, that's not the time to have the confrontation with the officer. The time to have a confrontation with the officer is if you want to retain an attorney, you can retain an attorney, or if you can't afford an attorney or don't want an attorney, you can represent yourself. And you have a right to cross-examine that officer on the stand, and they have to prove more reasonable...
why you got the ticket.
Right.
You're just not going to win that battle in the street. You know, you're just not.
And it just escalates, and the only thing that's going to happen is something bad.
Yeah, and it may not be as bad as getting shot, but that tends to be where it's going here lately, especially for black people. You know, so, but you're definitely going to be arrested. You know, you're definitely going to have some kind of an issue. So I always tell, and I hope my kids are listening, and he's sitting across from me, don't get into a situation where you have to be involved with a police officer other than saying hi or goodbye when you're walking past them. You know, stay out of anything that's going to get you to engage with them in a negative way, because they have a job to do, and they're going to do their job, and they're paid to do their job.
Right.
And as we pointed out, most of them are great, but you just don't know. But if what if? I mean, again, I'm always going to side with the police. I always will. I'll never not take their side and stuff. I mean, the bad ones got to be held accountable, and I'm fine with that. This girl would. Listen, I've looked at it. I'm with you. It doesn't look good.
What you should have said is, look, it was a tense situation. It was a hairpin trigger. He made a sudden movement. I panicked. I pulled the trigger. It was an accident.
Because that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what she should have said.
Because that's actually what happened from what I saw. She freaked out, and I don't blame her for freaking out.
And her voice on that audio, the way she screamed.
You can tell she was completely out of composure, you know, and I can understand that, you know.
Right.
And but she's the professional, and hopefully, it's just sad, you know. And this other guy now in Charlotte, I mean, they're not even there to talk to him, and he gets involved in this, and he's dead, you know. It's just, and what gets me is I was just in Charlotte like a month ago, and I think I was on here talking about how great Charlotte was, and it was a beautiful city. And one of the things that I said in Charlotte, and then I said this because I'm used to St. Louis, because you don't see this in St. Louis, so people from St. Louis, you can get mad because it's the truth. When I would be walking, I was downtown walking, and I had perfectly great interactions with black people, white people. It was, hey, hi. And I am totally shocked at what I'm seeing on TV. Totally shocked.
But isn't that a lesson that I think that we go through life and there's like this really thin Tupperware lid. And, we think that everything's nice and calm, and all it takes is, too many seconds in the microwave, and that stuff in the bowl boils over, and we see the ugliness that we see in Charlotte. And
it's bad down there.
It's bad.
Far worse than Ferguson.
But one of the things that we don't understand is that there's a lot of people out there that we don't see. There's a lot of homeless people out there that we don't see. There's a lot of poor people that we don't see. There's a lot of transient people that are barely making it by. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot of stress, economic, social, racial, maybe even some medical or psychological issues. There's a whole population out there that is completely under our radar screen. And all it takes is an episode like this, and it's like throwing a match into a kettle of oil.
Yeah, and I don't know where we go from here. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's funny because the first time I heard the term African American was from Bill Clinton. I'd never heard that term before. It was during he was running against Bush, and I remember saying to myself, and I still don't get the African American thing. I still don't get it, because I tell black people, I'm third generation born in this country. I'm probably more of an immigrant than you, but I'm an American. But I said back then, and I wasn't even really, I wasn't at all involved in politics or anything. It was just, I was 20 years old, whatever. But I said, once we start dividing ourselves, this is going to be bad. And that's what we've done. Because I don't see an African American getting shot by a cop. I see a black American. I see an American. To me, he may not feel that way. Maybe most people don't see it that way, but, they don't feel the flag represents them. But then again, they pulled away from America. They wanted to classify themselves as something different. They wanted to be African American, not American, not black Americans. They wanted to be African American. Okay, that's fine. We'll call you African American. But now the flag doesn't represent me. The flag doesn't do this. I heard a guy last night saying this was, black people built Charlotte. Well, of course they did. You're an American. Americans built Charlotte. Of course black people were part of that. And I don't think Charlotte was around during slavery time. Maybe it was. But maybe not everything downtown was built slavery.
No.
But it doesn't matter. You're an American. You got to be an American first, And when I see this Colin Kaepernick crap, so I started thinking to myself, and I took your words. I spent a lot of time in my truck this week. And I said, All right, so Colin Kaepernick, let's just pick on this ding-dong, because he's a ding-dong. He's an idiot. I have no respect for this man. NFL is not on in my house, just in case you're listening, Roger Goodell and all the sponsors. It won't be on until this stops, and you do something about it, and you can, because you won't let Dallas Cowboys represent and on their stuff for the Dallas shooting. So anyway, I thought to myself, okay, education, something you've talked about. Black communities, education, the problem with education in black communities, and I agree with you on it. So what if Colin Kaepernick decided to stand for the national anthem and maybe take just $100,000 of his $19 million he's going to make this year, or maybe all the extra money he's making from his jersey sales that are through the roof now, and he donated that to schools for books? Man, now wouldn't that be helping your people?
I think he did give $1 million
somewhere.
To charity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, to some charity. But
yeah.
Go to a charity. Don't go to a charity. Go to a school and say, what do you need? What do you need in this school? You know, this is a school. This is the worst school in the district, numbers-wise, according to the state. What do you need? Because I'm going to give you $1 million. I mean, that is helping your people. That I'm going to respect. You know what? I might even get behind that. Warwick Dunn, somebody that I really personally couldn't stand because he played for Florida State, and I always felt like Florida State brought criminals into play. But Warwick Dunn completely proved me wrong.
Worse than the University of Miami?
Oh, yeah, they're way worse.
Oh, my God. That's
I know.
bad.
He just completed his 139th home for single moms that live in the projects. And that's a man that's taken his opportunity that America gave him, because he came up with a single mom and all the hardships that Colin Kaepernick never experienced, and he's helping his community, and he's helping single moms. So I've reached out to his organization, and I'm going to give them money, because I think that's a great thing. Do we need to bring awareness? Yes, we need to bring awareness. Do we need to do it?
So he was successful in that regard.
Who?
Colin Kaepernick brought awareness to the subject.
No, the subject was brought to attention. Look, we can go back to Rodney King. Okay, we can go back to Rodney King. What was that, 1994? When did they burn down Watts for the second time?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, so
in the 90s.
Yeah, so we can go. We need to go to break. All right, we'll go to break. We'll talk about some more. We'll be right back. Brian and John and Aiden.
At Shell Community Federal Credit Union, you are important. We work hard to ensure you have the best banking experience possible. Whether you are inquiring about opening a savings account or wanting to learn more about a loan, our professionals are here to help you with any questions, and we will walk you through every step of the process. Since opening our doors in 1935, we've never forgotten that our members are our most important asset, which is why we continue to excel. For all your banking needs, Shell is the one place to go.
In today's economy, everyone's looking for an encouraging sign. That's exactly what you'll find right here at my State Farm office in Bethalto. I'm Tom Lane, and for 86 years, State Farm agents like me have been helping you protect the things that matter most. That's why more people trust State Farm, and why we consider that a very good sign.
Call Tom Lane State Farm office in Bethalto at 377-8912 or go to tomlaneagency.net.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Trigger Talents course covers the mandated curriculums of Illinois and Florida. Our facility allows for a safe, professional, comfortable in any weather shooting environment. We utilize a variety of law enforcement targets to illustrate the best shot placement for stopping threats. Our advanced course, CCW Plus, is the only in the state to offer training from a real vehicle in road rage, carjacking, and parking lot scenarios. Over 1,400 people have trusted Trigger Talent to be their choice in concealed carry and advanced instruction. Shouldn't you also?
Trust Family Auto Sales and Cycles focuses on providing you with the highest quality used vehicles in the Riverbend. Before hitting the lot, all cars are thoroughly inspected and serviced in our very own repair shop. We make sure your future vehicle will look like it just came off the assembly line. We have a massive selection of cars with price ranges to fit any budget, and our motorcycles look like they just came off the showroom floor. Trust can finance any credit situation and have you on the road in no time. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, van, SUV, hybrid, or motorcycle, Trust Family Auto Sales has you.
And we are back. Brian and John, we might disagree. Special guest Aiden. Okay, so John, how in America does a white guy like me and you, how do we get involved and help? Yesterday I saw the protesters in Charlotte try to throw a white guy into a burning trash can. I was a reporter. There was a guy shot in the back of the head. That's what happened. I mean, what do we do?
Well,
because this is not protesting. We all agree with that. This is rioting. Is it justified?
Rioting looting is never justified.
Isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you not be shot for looting?
Yes, you can be shot.
It's illegal. So technically, unarmed, go into a building, that cop that's got the little shield can pop you right then, and there's no...
I think they have to impose some type of curfew or something, but there are certainly rules that would permit the use of deadly force in a riot or looting situation.
If I had a business in downtown Charlotte, could I defend it?
Oh, absolutely.
With lethal force?
They'd have to come into your place of business, but within, as opposed to out on the sidewalk. But if somebody intrudes, I think you'd probably be justified in doing that.
What about in my car on a highway? Because a guy was in a semi yesterday night, and they caught his semi on fire while he was driving it because they stopped him at the roadblock.
I don't think you have that right in a vehicle.
I just wonder. What do you do at that point?
Unless you're, again, that you're in imminent fear for your life. You have the right to self-defense. That's anywhere.
Because if you go back to Rodney King, I remember the guy getting drug out of the truck and beaten. So if I'm driving down the road, if I'm going down 270 and I see people blocking and I've got that in my mind, I've got a guy they caught his truck on fire. I'm telling you right now, I'm not stopping.
Right.
I'm not going through there at 55 miles an hour. I'm not aiming to hurt anybody. You know what I mean? But if you get in front of me at my 15-mile-an-hour pace, and if you touch my windows, it's going to get faster. You know what I mean? I'm getting out of there because they're not behaving as protesters in most part. They're behaving as rioters, and it's not helping the situation. It's not helping.
I think but to answer your question, one of the things we have to understand is that first off, white people don't have. They can't impose answers on these things. But the first thing that before we can ever solve the problem is we have to have conversations with African American people, and really probably the only place in America where we sometimes, rarely, have these conversations are in churches. And I think we need to have a little more interfaith dialogue. I think we need to have more multi-faith gatherings where people prayerfully and otherwise consider the state of affairs in this country. And there's a lot of responsibility for these things. I mean, obviously, my point is that a lot of this stuff has been seething and percolating under the radar screen for years, and we're just now getting a glimpse of what's been boiling for a long, long time. But, that and our schools. Yoo-hoo! Thank you, Mr. Producer.
So not on my diet.
The official drink of the We Might Disagree show.
Man,
Yoo-hoo, if you're out there, call us.
This is all my brother and I used to drink, man. Love me some Yoo-hoos. So, I agree, and I think and I still will say I think we have bigger issues in our country than this, and
well,
you think about what happened with the terrorist, we're not even talking about that tonight. We're talking about this stuff going on.
But if we don't fix the original sin of America, which is slavery, and we still haven't fixed it, if we don't get it right.
That was not an American sin. That was a British sin.
Well, we certainly...
We fixed it. It took a while, but we fixed it.
After Britain had discarded the practice of slavery.
But we fixed it. It took time, but we fixed it. I mean, everybody does stuff wrong. I think, and that's what we don't look at. We look at, I tell people all the time, America has ended slavery in America. British people started it, and black people started it. That's who started it. It wasn't Americans. It was British and Africans that started slavery. We ended it.
That's little solace for people that have spent 150 years in slavery. I mean, there's something I've observed, and I don't get this, and maybe you can explain this to me from your conservative perspective, and I don't know if it's that you guys read the same magazine or the same blog post, but what is it with this hyper-technicality viewpoint on racism and slavery that the first response isn't that slavery is terrible, it's, oh, by the way, the first slave in America was sold by a black person. Okay.
Well, because I think it's important to point that out.
No, it's not important.
Why is it not
important?
Then why is it important?
No. It's a footnote. It does not address the substance
It's part of the
problem.
History. It's the beginning of it. It's what started. How does the beginning of a problem not matter?
So you think that this was a black problem that spilled out into white America?
I think that black people sold black people, and the first person to purchase a black person was a black person.
I'm not denying that.
But that's where it started. So if we're going to acknowledge that there was an issue with slavery, and I never support slavery. It's in the Bible everywhere, and I still don't support it, right? But it's Old Testament. The point is, I'm tired of being blamed for something I had nothing to do with. And quite frankly, none of the people walking this earth today had anything to do with or experienced it. I do say this, though, and I get in trouble for saying it because I don't know how to word it right. I go Donald Trump on it. But I do feel in some situations that black Americans are still being enslaved. It's just a different type of slavery. Right. And it's being done by the Democrat Party. And probably by the Republicans, too, to some degree. When you got 4 and 5 generations of people living on public assistance, that's not good.
No.
That's not good. And you got to, if I was a black man in America, I'd be pissed off.
Let's ask, why are they on public assistance?
I don't know.
Well, partly it's because they're living in wretched conditions, incredible poverty, limited opportunity, enormous unemployment, high rates of incarceration, and I had an article and I have it in the car. I didn't bring it in, but there's a study. I don't know if I've talked to you about this on air yet, but there's a study that was conducted that what is the cost of incarceration? The cost of incarceration is $1 trillion. Now, what that does is it calculates the loss of earnings of people that are incarcerated, the impact on the children that grow up in families that have incarcerated people, and that those effects go not just one generation, but probably a couple generations. You have the cost of incarceration. You have the fact that these people are substantially underemployed, if not in some respects unemployable. So all these costs, healthcare costs, reduced life expectancy, all these different factors, and the cost of that is $1 trillion. So when you start thinking about a number of that magnitude, and you start looking at places where you have 30%, 40%, 50% people who have incarcerated parents, brothers, sisters, uncles, and you look at the impact that has on families, on communities, it helps to start to reveal and explain these complicated situations. And why is it that some of these families persist in poverty year after year after year after year? I mean, not that incarceration explains all of it, but it's a large portion of it. You have some racism involved. You have banks that will not lend in certain neighborhoods. You have banks that historically would not lend money to African Americans. You have depreciating property values. When the property values depreciate, that's where the schools get their money. The schools start to decline, and so on and so forth. So all this stuff starts cascading. And that, it's not the fact that the government gives these people food stamps that keeps them enslaved. It's that you have this whole constellation of circumstances that bring to bear on these individuals that are least capable of withstanding that kind of pressure. And they don't do well. They don't thrive.
Listen, I agree with it. I just don't know how to fix it. Well, and obviously I can't fix it, because if I say something, as if you've watched and witnessed on Facebook, I get called all kinds of names, which I don't really care. But the point is, for me, I agree with everything you just said, but I don't know how to fix it for them. And obviously Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson aren't getting it done for him. You know what I mean? And apparently Barack Obama hasn't done much for him. You know, he likes to come out and chime in on stuff, but he hasn't done a lot for the communities overall. Statistically, the numbers don't show it. I mean, and statistically, I think, which is sad, and I think everybody in America, including this conservative guy sitting here, had hoped that a black president would get rid of some of this that doesn't need to be out there. Because like with me, and I think most people, there's not a racist bone in my body. I just, it's not there. I mean, I know you say I have some colorism, which I think is BS.
Everyone has prejudice. I'm not saying that people are...
I don't have, I mean, do I profile? Yes, I'll tell you now. I've openly said that.
So then you have prejudice.
I have intuition. It's not prejudice. You call it one thing, I call it another. I call it smart. My thing is this, though. At the end of the day, if I get to know somebody, or if you're coming in to work for me or work with me, I base you off how you treat me, not how you look, not how you dress, not how you talk. I mean, I've experienced that poverty over in North St. Louis, and it's heartbreaking. just to even have a normal conversation. You know, what I would consider, and let me rephrase it, what I would consider a normal, not even a highly educated conversation. And I'm not talking about every black person, okay? I have some black people that are far superior, more intelligent than I am.
That's not hard to do.
No, it is not hard to do. It's truly not.
It's
not, though. I mean, that's what I mean. There's a lot of great black people in this country that have done great things, and have made this. And I think black people have contributed greatly to our country. So it does upset me to see this, but I don't know how to fix it. And you know, when I try to say something to fix it, like I just said, you know, giving money for schools. Well, why do things appreciate? I think for me, one of the things, and I said it earlier in the show, is the separation of American. You know, we've got so many different cultures in our country now. We're losing our identity in some sense. And at the end of the day, that can't happen. You know, it just can't happen. I got in trouble once about 10 years ago for not using the term African American, and I said I'll never use it unless you're from Africa. And I have a couple of my friends that are from Africa, and they're African Americans. They got the accent to go with it. So, you know, you're from I'm guessing Poland, right? So, I mean, you're an immigrant, all right? I'm Belgic. We're from Hungary or Czechoslovakia. We're not even sure. So, I don't even know. The other part of me is Indian. My great-grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indian, you know. But I'm an American. You know, I mean, I'm an American first. I'll defend America first, and also I'll defend. Listen, I've defended black people with police officers. I've told you off air before what I've experienced, and I've stepped in the middle of it. So I think I have a very, very balanced approach to this, and I think it's common sense. I want it fixed. I want it stopped. If you just want to take everything out of it and just put the money value to it, think of the money we would save and have if these people were working versus getting money. You know what I mean? So to say that a group of people want to hold them back, I just don't believe is there. I think there is, though, but I don't understand it because it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, and again, it's complicated because...
It's very complicated. Man, when I try to wrap my brain around it, it's like trying to wrap your brain around the universe. It's like, we got to go to break.
Yep.
Let's go to commercial. Be right back.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com. Calc Institute of Technology is working for you with career programs for today's jobs. As a career student, you can expect a welcoming atmosphere with exceptional personal service, small classes with one-on-one attention, a set class schedule, and short-term programs that will get you into the workforce quickly. Calc has 2 locations for your convenience located in both Alton and Fairview Heights. For more information, visit Calc online at www.calc.edu.
It's warm outside now, but cold weather will be here soon. Protect your home and save money with Eagle Board premium vinyl siding from Eagle Home Improvement. Each Eagle Board panel covers twice the area of conventional siding. That means less air seeps into your home and you keep more money in your pocket. Eagle Board's beauty and performance will last a lifetime. Call Eagle Home Improvement at 259-2500 for a free no-obligation estimate. Eagle Home Improvement, where integrity counts.
Set, hit. Protection! Can anyone over there give me protection? Danny, hold. Put me in, coach. I can offer protection. Set, hit. Not only can I protect the quarterback, I can protect your dreams. Call me, Gerard Fisher, 466-7062.
American Family Insurance.
All right, welcome back to We Might Disagree with Brian and John and special guest Aiden. So we agree we can't fix the world's problems.
Right.
We'd all like to, and if we could, we would. I
think that we've made a mistake on this show.
Yeah.
That, we're trying to scratch our own brains, and here we have, it's my understanding, we have a brain trust from the Belchick family, who's actually successful in his foray in politics. And I don't know why we didn't ask him his input on some of these questions. It's my understanding he's in student government.
He's in student government. I don't think he's up on all the problems in the black community.
Well, that's fair.
You know,
fair.
and
we don't want to put him on the spot.
Don't want to put him on the spot on that. He probably couldn't speak too much to that. But he could tell us about his successful campaigning and his speech that he had to give. And so, Aiden, what did it take to get on the student council at Evangelical?
A lot of staying up last night.
Last night?
No, not last night, but like a lot of staying up all night.
You stayed up all night. I didn't. Yeah. I was not aware of that.
Did you work on a speech?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your speech? You don't have to give us a speech, but tell us what you talked about. Did you make any promises?
And I didn't write the speech either, Bob. I didn't even pre-read it. I just let him go with it. He was really nervous about the speech.
I was very nervous about the speech.
What was your speech about?
Just about how I would help lead the school and give suggestions of what we could do for dances at the school. Like, we're getting ready to come up for an Halloween dance at our school.
Oh, cool.
So
dang, I could have used him around here.
That's right. Are dances still a big deal in middle school?
Yeah.
Do people actually dance, or is it the girls stay on one side and the boys stay on the other side?
No, it's not like that.
No, you actually dance with each other?
He comes to dances down here, don't you?
Yeah.
John throws those wild little teen bashes down here at RiverBender.
Not me. Crazy.
Another John. John Pulaski. John.
Don't be getting me in any trouble here.
John P. used to throw the dances.
Yeah. I used to be the enforcer.
Yeah.
I used to be the enforcer of the dances. I didn't take any stuff from anybody.
There's no 8-year-old.
What kind of problems are we solving at the school?
No phones.
No problems at all?
It's kind of hard to do that.
So
No
what
phones is a problem?
if you had a magic wand, you could wave it and you could solve any problems that you're at Evangelical, is that right?
Yep.
It's a great school.
It is a good school.
Amazing school. I love that school.
Yeah. I like the school. I really do. I like
That's a UCC school.
Yeah, they're a good school.
That's a good school. So you had a magic wand, you could pick one problem and poof, goes away. What would you solve?
Probably, well, I don't really know. There's no bullying there.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Wow, that is good news.
Except for from his brother.
Now, are you the oldest?
No, Drew.
No,
well,
yeah,
but.
Yeah, he's the oldest.
Okay.
Besides for 3 other.
Yeah, I got 3 older kids before him.
Right.
Round 2, he's the oldest.
So, what does your little brother do that gets under your skin?
Which little brother?
Which one? You got 2 of them?
Both of them are annoying.
Yeah. Do you beat them up?
No, because they're my brothers.
Yeah. Well, that's a good answer.
It is. He's a good big brother.
Yeah, sounds that way.
I try my hardest not to be frustrated and mean and.
Sometimes they push you, especially.
Yes.
They can push you to the edge, can't they, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know how I feel, because you fall in that same category.
So it looks like you're dressed for sports. What kind of sports do you play?
I play soccer, basketball, and baseball. I think I'm gonna stick with soccer and baseball for now, because 2 different seasons. He's trying to keep me not kind of like all stuck together.
Yeah, we got baseball this time of year.
We're so busy and all that.
It's
kind of hard to.
We got a lot going on.
So do you have baseball and soccer crossing over?
Yeah.
That's hard doing 2 sports at once.
It's hard, and you got to commit. We got basketball coming up.
Like Parker's doing hockey.
Yeah, Parker's doing
He's gonna do hockey and baseball. Cameron's gonna do soccer. That's it.
That hockey's crazy. It's expensive.
It is
travel.
Crazy expensive.
Well, here's what's cool. We just signed up Parker for the Little Blues, so we paid $100, and we got skates, everything, a bag. I mean, there's no way. I mean, the skates alone were $60. I mean, and I went to Total Hockey. They were pulling the stuff off the shelf to give it. Now the thing is, it's limited. So we were really hoping we'd get in, and we got lucky to get in. And after 6 kids, I finally got one of them to play hockey. So I'm pretty excited. This is my favorite sport.
I wanted to do it, but they didn't have an older age group, so I wasn't able to do it. I was all excited. I was like, oh yes, I'm gonna be able to do hockey, but then they said it was
missed that
not.
boat for him.
Yeah.
He did real good though. He did a speech, he did an essay, and then he did posters. He had put posters up. It was a campaign. He ran for a week.
Yeah.
There were several people in. He was really nervous. He found out on his birthday that he had won. His classmates had voted in.
Okay, so there was 10 people running. It was me versus 9 girls, and I was like,
woohoo!
I'm
It
out.
split the vote.
And all the speeches were good. It was just they said it was a hard decision. Like, we got 3 representatives because I tied with someone else, and then
really?
Emily got in, of course.
Well, Emily, yeah, we know Emily get in. She's hot. Yeah, Emily's a rock star. She's gonna be famous one day.
I think we need to have Emily on the show.
Oh, she'd take it over. She wouldn't
Yes.
be sitting there being quiet. She'd have an opinion on something.
She wouldn't be just me sitting here.
Yeah, she'd be talking. She's a great little girl. She's
Yes.
she's a good influence on Aiden too. And
Very good influence.
that's why I wanted to bring him on tonight. He's been wanting to come on. I thought, okay, so he's done. What'd you do? You did lifeguarding this year.
I did lifeguard camp.
You did lifeguard camp.
Soccer
You did
camp.
soccer camp, nature camp. You've got your grades were up. Your baseball. I think the thing I was most proud of him for this year, and I want to tell all the little kids out there and all you out there that are struggling, he's a baseball fan, and I really am not. It's good for naps, but he was a hitter, and then all of a sudden couldn't hit. Just couldn't hit. And
Everybody goes through slumps.
They do, and I tried to explain that, but when you're 12 years old, time 11, you don't care. You know you're not playing. You're on the bench, and the coach does a great job. We love our coach. So I'm working with him, trying to do the best I can. I'm not the best ball player. Long story short, due to time, last game of the year, big hit, grand slam, win it, went undefeated, won everything. He just never gave up. And I thought, man, that was so cool to see him not give up, because there's going to be times, it's just one of those life lessons. You're going to get down, you got to just pick it up and keep going.
He put the message on Facebook, and Mom let me read it, and I was in tears.
You were in tears? Your dad?
Yeah.
Put you in tears?
I said good things, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't put too much on the kids about Facebook, but I was really proud of all the things he did over the year and still maintain grades, and now we're learning to mow the grass, so.
I'm excited about that,
Best
too.
show I've heard now.
So what do you want to be when you grow up?
Either I want to be a soccer player, baseball player, or an inventor.
Okay. Those
That's
are some
pretty.
good things.
That's some lofty goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be a producer.
You never know.
It doesn't pay well. I can tell you that.
It's better than being on the show. It doesn't pay much. You get yoo-hoos.
That's right. We work for Yoo-Hoos. Yoo-Hoo, if you're out there.
Thank you.
I'm telling you. We love you, Yoo-Hoo.
We want to end the show.
All
It's Dr. Pepper taking care of us.
I probably made a bad choice in getting that, because that looks good.
Well, the downside to that is Mom's going to watch this, and I'm going to get busted for the root beer. So, hey, got the, what, was it Monday nights of debate?
Yes.
Monday nights of debate. We're going to talk a little talk on the show. Maybe we should do a show after the debate. I don't know if I can or not. I have to look and see, but we need to definitely do immediate one after. I don't even know if I'm even going to watch it.
Oh, I'll watch it.
It's going to be stupid.
I'll watch it and rewatch it. I'll analyze it, psychoanalyze it.
Oh, it's going to be stupid. It's
I'll
gonna
put it
be
in slow motion replay. I'll have it all done.
It's going to look like this. And then she's going to fall over. And then it should be interesting. I just don't, it's hard to take these two candidates serious. I'll tell you who I do like. I like Mike Pence. I like Mike Pence a lot. He seems like a level-headed guy. And if I didn't know he was running on the Republican ticket, I don't know that I would know he's Republican or Democrat. And that's what I like to see.
He's a little too. I mean, he's not a bad guy. Personally, I think he's a nice gentleman. His positions on some of the LGBTQ stuff, I don't agree with. But
well, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see you'd be different on that stuff. But overall, I like Mike Pence. Out of all the 4 that are going to be on stage at some point, I like him. So, I don't know. I haven't put a Trump sign in my yard yet. So,
there goes the neighborhood.
I think it's coming, though.
Nobody's offered me a Trump sign. Where do you get them?
You guys got to buy them, man. $20. Donate $20.
I do want to talk. Just
I've never seen a Trump sign.
30
seconds. They're everywhere.
In terms of what did you think of that fake apology / show off your hotel episode last week, when he finally acknowledged after 5 years that the Obama was born in this country? I thought that was horrible.
It was. Listen, he should have never even started that.
Right.
I mean, but I think it's so old that you got to move on past it. I don't know why we're still talking. He hasn't said it for years. I mean, he said that like the first 2 or 3 years he was in office.
I think he said 11 months ago was the last time he probably.
I don't know. I think if with these two candidates, if you don't like one of them, it's easy to pick on them.
Right.
It's very easy to just pick them apart because they're crap.
Well, I'm not a fan of Hillary, but I do think that I shriek to think what will happen in this country if Donald Trump is elected.
I think. Well, I don't know. I've got mixed emotions about it. I really do. Listen. I'm not going to say it on there. I will be casting my vote for Trump. I will not be voting for Hillary. There's no way, and heck, that's ever going to happen. I think Hillary's going to win. I don't think it's going to be close. I think they're playing it like it's going to be close. It's not. It's she's acting like she's won it already. It's in the bag, and I don't think it's been pre-predicted or anything.
I disagree.
I've been
John,
traveling.
you think it's in the bag?
I don't think it's in the bag, but I think what you're going to find is, I think Trump is at his high water mark. I think.
Well, he's doing good right now. Right now, he's impressing me. Well, I mean, he's looking very good right now.
I don't think he's had a good past week, and I think that's going to start snowballing. I think that people are going to expect more from him from the debate, and I don't think he's going to deliver. I don't think anybody has any great expectations from Hillary. I think that she'll probably exceed expectations.
I think she'll rock the debate. I think she'll do. That's all she's been doing for the last. Well, all she's done is raise $100 million and practice for a debate. I love her answer the other day when she wasn't out. Oh, she was having an update from her national security team. What the heck is that? I don't know. Listen, I don't think Trump has a chance. I would rather have him than her.
He's done pretty good in some previous debates.
Listen,
he could surprise, but
well, I think we constantly underestimate him. I kind of see that a lot. I mean, I can kind of live in those shoes. People don't see me coming, but I just think that at the end of the day, you look at the states he's got to win, and it doesn't add up. You know what I mean?
Mark my words. Write this down on your napkins, on your journals.
Got it right here.
Pennsylvania, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Now, election night, he pulls off Pennsylvania and New Hampshire.
It's
done. If he doesn't pull it off, it's over.
Yeah. But I think the thing, too, that we got to think of, and this is what I've been trying to put through my head, and why I'm really unlike most people on TV, and I watch both sides of this whole thing, it's not a normal election. So I don't know if those states are going to be in play. Under normal circumstances, they're going to be in play, but that may not be the case. I mean, it may be Texas.
Texas is in play. Georgia's in play. North Carolina, Virginia. Yeah. Nevada.
Yeah, I mean,
Utah. He's having trouble with the Mormons. Yeah, that's one thing. Those Mormons stick together.
I don't get that. They didn't even vote though for Romney, which I don't know. It's a mess. It's just a mess. It's so disappointing we're here. You know what I mean? And how we got here, I don't know. Where we go from here, I don't know. But I look at my little guy, and I worry. I truly worry.
Things are never as good as we think, and they're never as bad as we think. It's because it's hard to move the needle.
What I will tell you is this. Things are beyond bad. We are at a point, think about where we were 15 years ago. And where we are now. We got hit with the worst attack on our soil ever 15 years ago. We were all holding hands and singing Kumbaya. We were Americans. We've got riots in the streets. We've got Americans putting bombs out in front, running and blowing up explosives in the street, and it's the normal now. It's normal. That's not normal. This isn't. We don't live in the Middle East. We've brought this crazy world. We've always been American. We've always been protected by the oceans, and we're not anymore. And now we're a mess. Maybe it's another show because of time, but Mr. Producer is shaking his head. So,
I mean, you have to understand that we've done things around the world that have caused people to have a slow-burning hatred of the United States, and some of that's justified. And so we can't really act surprised when some of this stuff comes back home to roost.
Yeah, but you can't ever accept people putting pipe bombs in the street. Can't do it. Can't accept it.
No, I'm not saying it's acceptable.
And we got to get
it's understandable.
And we got to get an agency in place that catches people before they do this stuff. Hey, they're great at catching them after. Okay, be a little more proactive. Luckily, this guy was an idiot and didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
Or this could have been really bad. Think about it. He hurt 29 people and put that thing in a dumpster. Imagine if it would have been out in the middle of the street.
But one thing you have to remember, and you're talking to someone that's been in the intelligence business,
I know,
it's
Aiden's smart.
really, really hard. And I have no doubt of that. He looks like his mother, thinks like his mother, talks like his mother. But it's really hard to get it right 100% of the time. And what we don't hear is the 99% of the time where they foil something before it ever formulates into a formal plan or someone takes action on it. And so, just like we have to give police officers 9 times out of 10 the benefit of the doubt, I think we have to give our intelligence people the benefit of the doubt.
I do.
They're working very hard
to
keep America safe, and there's been relatively few instances, given some of the odds and the numbers they have to work with, that they've done a good job. And I think
I'm not bashing them. I just wish they'd do a better job. You can't let. It's happening too much. So, all right, we'll end on that.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on the show, Aiden. Congratulations on student council.
Good to have you. Good job.
Did a great job. And by the way, I love the green shirt. Go Irish. And we will see you next week, folks. Thanks you so much. Have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
Halpin Music Company is so much more than just a music products retailer. We do have great products at great prices, but we've been long known for our exceptional customer service, our friendly sales staff, and highly trained, experienced repair technicians. We have great and talented music instructors, students young and old alike, all age groups. So I invite you to come to Halpin Music Company and experience the Halpin Music Company difference.
I'll grab the birthday cake, you bring the gift, if you're sure she's ready.
She's 16, honey, and she's earned a set of keys.
She's studied and practiced, I know, but it's a big responsibility.
When you have a teen driver, it's good to know that Madison Mutual has the insurance coverage you need.
She's ready, and so are we. I talked to our Madison Mutual agent.
Call Barry Macias, your local independent insurance agent, at 467-2874.
The more life changes, the more you need Madison Mutual.
One of the greatest myths about car dealers is that some pay less for their cars than others. Hi, I'm John Roberts, and we all pay the same. Here at Roberts Motors, we can compete with any Ford dealer, regardless of how big they are or how great they say their deals are. The number one concern of anyone buying a car today is service. At Roberts Motors, we pride ourselves in exceptional service.